Name two value systems in the African American culture.
Value system?
Yes. Name two taboos in the African American culture system. Name two traditions, by the way, in the African American culture system. There is no value for freedom if you don't understand what it is. The concept of free. You have to have a foundation on which it would balance when you ask for it. Civil right, they give it to you. You have no culture. Nancy, you've been here, born here. Why would you be surprised if I say African Americans don't have a culture? What, twerking?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
So we're having a conversation about culture. So
yeah.
What is culture, Dr. Black, before we go to the phones?
You know, in a sentence, I think culture is the way a people imagine themselves in relationship to God and the universe. The way people imagine themselves in relationship to God and the universe. In other words, a culture is the way we negotiate. People negotiate themselves with their environment. Right? It's the things you create to be in conversation with the invisible things around you. Music, art, poetry, right? Dance is really a way of trying to figure out how in the world things move in your ecosystem. That's why dance is rhymed and rhythmed movement. Dance is doing the same thing the tree is doing when the wind blows.
Mm.
Dance is doing the Mm-hmm. And see, this is important because what we're really trying to figure out is how God thinks.
So why would someone say a whole group of people have no culture?
Because depending on who you're looking at and how you're looking at them, most people are what we call ethnocentric. Most people are using their own culture as a measure of looking everywhere around the world, trying to find examples of themselves in somebody else's place. But see, Karen Hunter, you can miss God that way. Hey, God, today, you can miss God that way because the genius of black culture, and it was genius, what black people discovered very quickly from things like Tulsa, et cetera, that is hide the culture in the invisible. Because if you do that, other people cannot own it. They cannot take it. So what folks did for us was they gave us a culture of the art of prayer. The art of praying. Somebody's going to get this in just 1 minute. And if somebody went to a black church, there is an art. There is a way you do it. They taught us singing, which you cannot steal from somebody. But if you're not going to beat black people vocally. You're not going to do it. That's not going to happen. Right? Why? Because once you put it in the voice, somebody else cannot own it. And you can generate it and regenerate it anytime you want it.
Differently each time.
Every single time. Every single time it is different. That's just like that. We were talking about the quilts our grandmothers made. See, they didn't go to fabric stores and get cloth, to make cute things and match. They took granddaddy's old overalls. They took one of grandma's old house dresses. They took a patch from a pair of jeans that we were wearing as kids, and they pieced these things. No two quilts were ever alike. See, it's the same thing. No two quilts were ever alike because what they were doing, they were using the pieces of what we had given as people who lived in the family. And the metaphor is, if you put all those pieces together, they create something that none of the pieces was by themselves.
I played a clip from the same guy, Frank Zanu, last week, and I used it as a theme around maintenance because he was speaking with two other Africans, and he in their particular language and cultures, they didn't have a word for maintenance. So the British left, he said, the British left you with roads and railroads or whatever, and you didn't maintain them. What's the word for maintenance? And they couldn't come up with the word for maintenance, right? And I thought it was a powerful representation. If we're living in an industrialized world, which we are, you have to maintain, and I've used it to maintain your body. And, I used his thing to have a conversation. So you can piece through people's commentary to find something of value. This thing, though, I was like, you're not on the right path here. But I get it, because he has been westernized to the point where he can see all of the good that the good white people brought to but we haven't been able to maintain it because it's not in our culture. Maintenance is not in our culture. And then I flipped it to say, because abundance is in your culture. So if you have everything and it's abundant, and the way you build your homes is going to last forever, the pyramids, whatever, then you're not focused on maintenance. This is man-made stuff. But now he's delving into something that he's out of his depth. So I'm glad we're having this conversation today. And how we check people lovingly is the thing that I'm struggling with, because I there's a part of me that wants to dismiss people who are that damn ignorant.
But see, the reason it's so important, and I love you for this, and I love how you're welcoming growth and transformation, and I'm being very serious. And the reason it's important to check him lovingly is because we're really checking an entire generation. See, we're not just checking him. We can't dismiss a whole generation of people. That's too many people to lose if we're going to win this war, right? So we're really checking an entire people. And that's why this is so very, very, very important. But see, people have made this error a million times. Folks, for example, will go to Africa or come to America, like he probably did, looking for the black Eiffel Tower. See, people keep looking for black versions of the white thing as evidence that black people have culture. You see, in other words, the problem is the eyes you're coming with are limited to even see the genius of black culture. You couldn't see in fact, you're staring at it and you can't see it. Because while you might go to France again for the Eiffel Tower, you don't come to Black America for a tower. You come to Black America for the art of conjuring. Come on, somebody. I can't hear nobody. And if you don't know how to conjure, right, then you missed half of your inheritance as a black person. How do I know? Half of us are alive because our grandmothers conjured on behalf of us while we were out in the world clowning. Come on, somebody.
Come on. And this, you know what I loved about the Rites of Passage last night? We had a brother that's a devout Christian. We had a sister that was a devout Muslim. I know there was a couple, but everybody walked away with a sense of self and purpose that even the brother that was a Christian said, I was trying to find the incongruence. And there was none. Because as you say, conjure, I know that somebody's like, oh, that's witchcraft. Let's grow up. Let's grow up.
Listen, Karen, when I tell you, I thought about that because he literally was saying, I was looking for the thing that was going to justify me not doing it. And I could not find it. Because spirituality is wider than religion, sir. It's bigger than religion. And conjuring is just another word for what we in the church call prayer. Listen, when folks on Wednesday night met for prayer meeting, let's be honest here. I don't need to meet you to pray. I don't need to meet you to pray, but I do need to meet you to ritualize. See, people don't know that's what we were really doing, ritual, but we couldn't use that word ritual. But that's what we were doing, because sometimes I didn't have the strength to pray for myself. So I would ask my friend or my neighbor or my sister or my brother to do it. You don't come to America for an Eiffel Tower. You don't come here for that. You don't come here for that. You don't come here for that. You come here, right, if you're trying to see the art of improvisation. Now we can show you that and it'll blow your mind. But if you don't see improvisation as a cultural signature of what it means to be of African descent, you've missed the whole thing. If you're waiting for us to play Mozart while we're singing Mahalia,
is it African or is it black? Let's sit with that for a second, because they're cosplaying us now. They're about 20 years in fashion, music, literature. They're cosplaying us.
It's absolutely
true. It's distinctly different.
It is distinctly different, but it's leaves of the same tree. See, if you get an African drumming troupe together from, say, Senegal, you're going to hear the improvisation.
Okay.
You're going to hear the improv. If you get them from Ghana, you're going to hear the improv. If you get them from South Africa, the Ndebele, you're going to hear the improv. But you're also going to hear it here if you get black folks together in the church. You're going to hear it here if you get a group of black people together and we sing. But we won't do it here necessarily on the djembe. We might do it on the hip instead. See, what people are messing up is don't let the manifestation. Come on, Karen, please, ma'am.
Okay, all right, let's go to phones. Okay, all right. Bill in Richmond, we'll take all of the calls, I promise. Bill in Richmond, Virginia, welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Thank you for holding. You're on with Dr. Daniel Black.
Karen, Dr. Black, this is a pleasure, but you all were stealing all my thunder. I teach music appreciation at Virginia State University, and today was our last day of class. And I start the class out by having my students picture themselves in the African savannah. And I ask them, where do you think music comes from? Where do you picture yourself in Africa 5,000 to 10,000 years ago and hear God moving and see the Spirit of God moving and understand that all of us are wrapped up in God's moving, and we took that to the world. Now, let me just say this, and Dr. Black, I heard you say it, but let me explain this to you. American culture is African-American culture. What we have in this country is based on the African-American experience. I teach about the Fifth Jubilee Singers.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Fifth Jubilee Singers went out and took those spirituals, and they were amazed that the white people were so amazed that black people who had been enslaved could come out there and sing to God like that. But they were conjuring, as you said, Dr. Black.
Yes,
They were singing Go Down Moses. They were singing Swing Low Sweet Chariot. They were singing all the American culture is black culture. I don't know where that crazy man comes from. Now, let me say this, Dr. Black. You keep talking about Nat Turner because I'm from Virginia. I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, and there was a young man named Gabriel Prosser that predated Nat Turner. And in 1800, he decided that he was going to take matters in his own hands.
That's right.
We have a play running right now in Richmond called Gabriel. And, of course, on October the 10th, 1800, Gabriel was hung for starting one of the first slave rebellions in the United States. He was going to kidnap Governor Monroe and make him free the Africans.
That's right.
And make
the
Africans.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We